As mothers and daughters, we are connected with one another. My mother is the bones of my spine, keeping me straight and true. She is my blood, making sure it runs rich and strong. She is the beating of my heart. I cannot now imagine a life without her. Kirsten Hannah, Summer Island. You know, mothers are unique creatures. They are the perfect example of human selflessness. At least the good ones. And it is only through them that mankind is still growing and multiplying. But how are these wonderful figures represented in media? Usually not very well. Which is understood. A lot of writers and creators are known to release buried trauma that they have with their family in their work, and it is usually mothers who get the brunt of it. Are there good mothers? Yeah, of course. In fact, let's talk about 10 of them. This is the top 10 mothers in fiction that I have come across. These are in no order because, quite frankly, the word best, especially when it comes to parents, is subjective. These ladies just happen to be the cream of the crop, in my opinion.
Hush now, my baby, be still, love, don't cry. Sleep as you're rocked by the stream. Sleep and remember my last lullaby. So I'll be with you when you dream.
Peg Boggs from Edward Scissorhands. While selling Avon, which, trust me, is the most irritating, thankless job you can be saddled with, Peg finds the title character abandoned in a mansion and brings him home where she takes care of him and treats him like family. Now, you would think, oh, Peg was so calm and collected that she would accept Edward on the spot. Yeah, no. At first glance, she is horrified, but she overcomes that and takes pity on him. She even takes care of him better than her own kids. However, it could be argued that she should have left Edward in the mansion, as the movie's ending reveals. I won't spoil anything for you, but I would still put Peg here just for the fact that her heart was so gentle.
Sleep and remember my last lullaby. So I'll be with you when you dream.
Rosalina, Super Mario Galaxy. How many times have we talked about Rosalina now?
Like a zillion?
Yes, it has gotten quite old.
Shut up, no one likes you too. But anyway, yes, I am talking about the sexy, sexy space goddess yet again. Because how much more of a mother can you be than taking care of the entire universe? Yeah, and when you take into account that in Mario canon, Rosalina is God, she is literally the mother of all things. However, most people would only remember her guarding the baby Lumas with everything she has, and her backstory, which basically has her becoming their guardian when she's still a child herself. And it is probably the want that she has for her own parents that makes her such a good mother. She knows herself what children need because she herself still needs it. But rather than crying about it, she stays with the Lumas so they won't have to want like she does. Kinda self-sacrificial, don't you think?
Sleep and remember my last lullaby. So I'll be with you when you dream.
Morticia Addams, Fullmetal Alchemist. I know a lot of people may not agree with me on this one since Trisha was barely in the anime, but let me explain. Trisha did the honorable thing. She found the man of her dreams who treated her kindly and got married before having her sons Edward and Alphonse. And at first, everything seems fine. However, when Hohenheim leaves, blah 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 rotting blah, She has to take up the reins and take care of these two boys by herself and act like nothing's wrong, while nursing a broken heart. Hell, she does this, taking care of everyone around her, her sons first and foremost, until it literally kills her. And some may still say Trisha's only significant for her sadness factor. But here's the thing. Trisha was such a good woman that Hohenheim would rather leave and occasionally send help from afar than potentially traumatize her when his body finally fell apart. Trisha was such a good mother that Edward and Alphonse decided to say fuck the rules to the natural laws and try to bring her back. There would be no story, there would be no conflict, there would be no Fullmetal Alchemist without Trisha Elric. Think about that.
Sleep and remember my last lullaby, so I'll be with you when you dream.
Donna Tubbs, The Cleveland Show. I think CR of Channel Awesome said it best. The three Seth MacFarlane moms can be put into three sections. Lois is a bitch, Francine is a moron, and Donna is OP. Seriously, we may have made a joke about the whole strong, independent black woman who don't need no man quote nowadays, but Donna really is that character. I mean, I couldn't imagine raising one hard-headed kid by myself, let alone two. And then she becomes a mother to Cleveland Jr. when she and Cleveland get married. Three hard-headed kids. And let's not forget that there are times when Cleveland himself acts like a giant man-child. So, in the grand scheme of things, she's taking care of 4 kids and not being a bitch about it like some red-headed moms by Seth MacFarlane. The only negative points on Donna's record are the times when, her stereotype is showing, and the fact that she keeps giving Robert the benefit of the doubt. He is a deadbeat! Let him go, Donna!
Sleep and remember my last lullaby, so I'll be with you when you dream.
Izumi Kanata, Lucky Star. I think one of the few good things about Lucky Star was when Konata would talk about or interact with her family. This was, of course, because her father was a pervert with a heart of gold, her cousin was a new police officer, and the fact that her mother was always around. Even though she was dead.
Say what?
Kanata Izumi still sometimes comes to see how her husband and daughter are doing without her, since she died while Konata was still young. You can tell that she has regret and wishes nothing more than that she could have been in Konata's life. However, the scenes where she's mentioned are extremely sweet. Konata's father misses his wife, and Konata wonders how her mom would have seen her lifestyle if she was still around. And on Konata's end, she loves these two just as they are. Whereas everybody else in the show makes fun of them, Konata's father's career, and Konata herself being obsessed with gaming and anime, Konata is just happy that they're surviving without her. She loves them just as they are, perviness and otakuness included. That's the best thing you can ask of a mother.
Sleep and remember my last lullaby, so I'll be with you when you dream.
Mrs. Brisby, The Secret of Nim. Oh my god, talk about a mom who would go through hell and back for her kids. Mrs. Brisby practically does just that to save her son from dying. She leaves the safety of her home to try and find the rats of Nim, who know about the ways of man, since the humans near her home are sending tractors to decimate the place. Which is bad since Mrs. Brisby's son has fallen under a debilitating fever that will kill him if he's moved from bed. And really, Mrs. Brisby is just a simple woman, mouse, who is trying to raise her kids since her husband died, But when push came to shove, she shows a mother's endurance. The only bad thing about Mrs. Brisby... Secret of Nim 2. Just Secret of Nim 2.
Sleep and remember my last lullaby. So I'll be with you when you dream.
Elastigirl, aka Mrs. Incredible. Like Mr. Fantastic but better, Elastigirl, now known as Mrs. Incredible, was one of the best parts of the movie The Incredibles. She was part of the original superhero boom, but unlike her husband, she was mature enough to set aside the glory days for the sake of her family. It kind of goes back to that phase, once you have a baby, your life is over. Not to say that it's the end of the world, but it's time for you to start caring about something other than yourself. Which Mrs. Incredible does. Even her stubborn husband. Especially her stubborn husband.
Sleep and remember my last lullaby. So I'll be with you when you dream.
The Dolorosa from Homestuck. Can we just give a round of applause to the Dolorosa? Hands down, she is my favorite ancestor in all of Homestuck for just how much of a moving character she is. And most of that comes from how much of a mother figure she is. Hell, her original purpose was to tend to the mother grub and the offspring that it produced. It is through this that she happens upon a small grub who has been tossed aside and has no chance of survival. Until she has mercy upon it, abandons her duties, and devotes herself to raising this infant, who grows up into the Signless and who would later be known as the Sufferer. She supports the Sufferer and the messages of equality and peace he starts to spread when he's younger. And she is forced to watch when he is slain for his beliefs in a heart-rending display before she is sold into slavery for supporting him. If you find yourself saying, "Hey, Lupino09, this sounds familiar," even if you don't follow Homestuck, you should. The whole saga of the Sufferer is a clever reinterpretation of the biblical accounts of Jesus Christ. Hell, the Dolorosa's name is Spanish for pain. She is literally the grieving mother. And her mother-like tendencies, I'm proud to say, actually flow through the rest of the Virgo line. The Dolorosa. Best ancestor ever.
Sleep and remember my last lullaby. So I'll be with you when you dream.
They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious.
Morticia Addams, the Addams family.
The Adam family.
How do you keep a crazy family in line so despite their zaniness, they exude an aura of grace and flair? The Morticia Addams. As forward as Gomez is, we all know that Morticia was the real head of this family. Low-voiced, incisive and subtle, her smiles are rare and deadly. She's contemptuous and original, with fierce family loyalty. Despite her usual disposition, she's witty and deathly alluring, especially when she speaks French. She's also given to low-key rhapsodies about her garden of deadly nightshade, henbane, and dwarf's hair. And the fact that despite how dark and gloomy she seems, that she She's the one who gets Gomez to come with her to each of her kids' activities so they can somewhat be normal. If you can have any crazy fictional mother, choose Morticia. Hinawa, Mother 3. Just like there would be no Fullmetal Alchemist without Trisha Elric, there would be no Mother 3 without Hinawa. Not just the fact that she was one of the greatest, kindest video game mothers ever. Not just the fact that it was her sacrificing herself to the Mecha Drago so that Klaus and Lucas could escape. Not just the fact that her presence and the lack of it affects everyone in one massive trickle effect. Oh no. It is the end of Mother 3, where she comes back from the dead to help stop Klaus from killing Lucas, and basically doing the hardest thing a mother could do, helping your own child to kill themselves for the greater good. That makes Hinawa one of the best. How hard must that be? It's like the Sophie's Choice of video games. And you know what's the really fucked up part? Just like Sophie's Choice, poor Hinawa was screwed either way here. Think about it. If Klaus killed Lucas, the Great Dragon would have been summoned and destroyed the entire world, killing everyone in it. If Lucas lived and Klaus died, which is what happens, Lucas summons the Great Dragon, which destroys the entire world and kills everyone in it. The fact that Hinawa had to make the choice of intervening versus staying away, though. At the end of it all, I just have one final note to say. This Mother's Day, I implore you to go give your mother a hug. Or a phone call if you're out of state. If you're the child of a single parent, give them twice the hugs for being two parents in one. If you were raised by your aunt or grandmother, do the same. Hell, if you're the child of a same-sex couple, do exactly the same. I'm Lupino09 and I'm gonna go make my mother dinner because as much as we make each other want to kill ourselves, she's still my mother and I'm still her daughter. Peace.